tomorrow, I believe, but the numbers do not make sense. We had people at every polling place standing in line 2 to 3 hours. Somehow the numbers for this election are the same of turnout, the same as of 2018, which was a mid-election when people don't turn out. Particularly us Republicans were kind of allergic, I think, for the. But something's not right. What happened to all those mail-in or all the people who voted in person, and why are there more mail-ins than people at the polls? So something is not correct. We've heard a lot of crazy stories from people not being allowed in to vote because of their T-shirt, and which is you can't do that. Some people were getting in mail-in ballots who never requested them. And then when they would go to surrender them, it would not be in the books that they had a mail-in ballot. We had machines that were malfunctioning and not scanning any information. It's just the amount of stuff is going on is absolutely crazy. That's why I think they need to go and audit every single vote, because I'm sure we're going to find a lot of dead people voting, and probably, I'm sure my dog voted. I just don't know about it. It's a...
Exactly. That's enough right there to at least look into it. And if there's no base to these claims, it should be easy enough for them to do so and prove to the American people that Joe Biden won fair and square. Now, I'd love to expand a little bit on the fact that you came here from Russia. Can you tell us about how that perspective has changed your outlook on this election?
Well, everything that's happening right now is almost like right out of a socialist totalitarian playbook. I mean, we already experienced 8.5 months of socialism. What people don't understand about socialism is that it's government overreach into our everyday life. So we already been having to quarantine at home. They're picking what is an essential business. They're telling us how we're supposed to educate our children. They're telling us, Governor Wolf just declared that we're not supposed to have more than 5 people at our holiday dinner. Well, if I have, let's say, 6 kids, what do I tell my one kid? Don't show up? I mean, and at what point will the government overreach will stop? Because the more power hungry they are, the worse it's going to get. And this is exactly what is happening right now. I mean, I am so scared for the state of this country. This country was built on freedom, liberty, and opportunity, right? People gave up everything, including possibly ever seeing their families ever again, to come to the greatest country in the world. And now we're destroying that? I mean, this is lunacy. This is not, if somebody would have told me even 5 years ago that we would be down this path, I would have called him a liar. But here we are. I mean, I am praying I have like multiple people praying rosary, to protect our country. I mean, we got to fight like hell.
Absolutely, we got to keep praying and keep fighting. So talking about the parallelism with socialism and the Russia, what do you think the implications on the future of a republic and elections in the future if we accept the possible fraud here?
We will lose our country as we know it. We will never be a republic ever again, as long as probably for generations. Because again, they're going to get more and more power hungry, and they're going to continue to, free sounds really great. We all been programmed to believe that free is fantastic. Gift with purchase, buy one, get one free turkeys for everyone right now. But somebody's paying for it. Free education under socialism they tested you in 8th grade, and if you were not smart enough to go to college or university, then they put you in a factory. They would not even invest additional years of education. That's where you just went. We had free nurseries and free daycare, but you had to because everybody had to work. That stay-at-home mom was not a thing. That was not allowed. My grandmother worked until well into her 70s. You know, everybody's going to be working. Equal pay is going to be, we're going to be all equally poor. And at 90% taxation, the only people that will get anything out of it is the big government, not us.
You're absolutely right. And I just have two last questions for you here today. So we've been talking to people on the ground. We were in Harrisburg yesterday, here today. People are furious about this. What sort of action can they take from home, or what can they do right now?
There are websites and hotline numbers. If they saw any kind of fraud, please report it. Contact Trump campaigns as well. I don't have that number offhand, but there are, I think, there are phone numbers that they can reach out, and they have to start reporting it. We gotta fight for the integrity of this election.
You're absolutely right. We do need to keep fighting, keep praying. Last question. Do you feel any hope that justice will come through this?
I do, but I'm afraid that they'll figure out a way to make it even more corrupt. I mean, I honestly, at this point, just have to pray a lot, a lot and often.
Absolutely. We know God is sovereign through this. We got to keep hoping and actually putting action to that hope, though. So thank you so much for interviewing with us today. You have a great day. Thanks for being out here. Absolutely. Got to show the truth out here.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was a great interview. I think we're going to pass it over to Philip here in just a second. I think he has another interview. Here you go, Philip.
Pass him. All right, guys. How's it going? Thank you again for joining us on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're out here in the streets of Philadelphia. I'm here with a Trump supporter. Please go ahead and tell the camera who you are.
My name is Michael Breitenbach.
Michael, what are some of the reasons why you're out here today?
Well, we're watching the election being stolen right out from under us. I mean, in several states, in several cities, there's malfeasance going on. We know it's happening. We know that dead people are voting. We know that ballots are being cast illegally. We know that ballots are coming in late, and we're not going to stand for it. We refuse to stand for it. We cannot let our democracy be stolen right out from under our eyes. We have to do something, and that's why we're here.
Did you vote for Trump in 2016?
No, I did not. I did not. No, I did not. And right now, I'm here rallying for him because I believe the future of our country depends on it.
All right, and one last question. If you have one message for President Trump, what would it be today that you would want to tell him for you being out here?
Thank you, and don't stop fighting.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it. Take care, my friend. All right, we're going to go ahead and keep working our way down the line here, see if there's anybody who would like to do an interview with us. There's the famous Trump rally song, YMCA. Everybody's jamming out to it. You can see there's a dance party happening right now, which is really cool. All right. They're having a party here. People are energetic. They're ready to see the president reelected. From what I heard from a lot of experts, they say they think the president will be inaugurated on January 20th. The MSM, the mainstream media, or we call it the lamestream media, doesn't want you to know that. I think they're participating in illegitimately electing Joe Biden president of the United States. And these people are not going to stand for it. They're going to make sure that the president gets inaugurated on January 20th and that he gets reelected 45th president of the United States. We're going to go ahead and go over here and do an interview with this gentleman behind me. Sir, if you could just go ahead, and we'll keep it real short. What is one reason why you're out here today?
I'm fighting to keep the republic and protect our Constitution. That's it.
Did you vote for Trump in 2016?
I did. I'm an independent, former Democrat. He's the only guy who had the guts to stand up and fight for the people. I do not like the Republicans or Democrats. All right? They're a bunch of crooks. I like somebody who's outside the box. Not a politician and not a lawyer.
There you go. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. We did. Absolutely. We did promise we would do a short interview there, so we were doing it. Like I said, people just fired up. There's a lot of energy out here, whether it's that group or this group. There's some vulgarities coming from the other side. Everybody here on the Trump side is just having a good time. They want to support their country. There's no pushback here. These people are just having fun, and they want to make sure their president gets reelected. And that is one of the most important things And that is why we're here at Right Side Broadcasting Network are bringing this to you so that you can see the people, so that their voices can be heard, because President Trump needs to be reelected for 4 more years. And that's what everybody here is making sure they're doing. You can see everybody dancing the Trump dance like he famously does at his rallies. So everybody just having a good time. The mainstream media won't show you this, guys. This is why Right Side Broadcast Network is here, is because we are here to show you the things that the mainstream media will not show you. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, they will not show you this. Right Side has always been committed to showing you the things that nobody else would. We're out here, we're on the streets, we're showing you the people. The people's voices want to be heard. They're right outside the Pennsylvania Convention Center where they're counting the ballots, some illegitimately from what we hear, and the people are fed up, and they are out here right now. There you go. You just heard a special message just for Right Side Broadcast Network. People are fired up. They're outside the Pennsylvania Convention Center, and they're making sure that the votes are all counted fairly. And that is something that we can all stand behind, is a fair and free election. So these people will continue to be out here. I know this has been going on for a few days since the election, so we will see what happens. Like I said, the mainstream media is going to make their calls. They're going to say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, truth will prevail. I truly believe that. As a Christian, truth will prevail. There's some people here who might want to do an interview. Sir, do you want to do an interview? You want to do an interview?
Sure, for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'll make it short. All right, so what's one reason why you're out here today?
I'm out here today because I'm out here today, I'm voting for Trump just because my parents came from socialism. They came from the Soviet Union. They know exactly what it is, how socialism works. They don't want it to return back to that. Neither does any of my family. I'm the first generation in America. I'm 18 years old, and I'm voting. This is my first time ever I'm voting. I'm going to make sure Trump wins.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it dearly. There you go. You just heard it. People have seen the firsthand effects of what socialism is, and under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, people believe that is what America will turn to. Americans who know it do not want it. If socialism is so great, why don't people ever go back? They don't. And they're trying to bring that here to this country, and that's what all these people are here to fight against. There's great patriots out here today waving American flags, holding Trump signs. They just want transparency. If you look at the other side, there's some nasty messages coming on those signs and on those banners, and it just really shows a stark contrast between the two groups that are out here today. So we can be super thankful that Trump supporters are so kind and loving, and they're willing to have us here. We did venture out over there to the other side earlier, and people weren't loving us so much, and that's because we tell the truth, and we pin ourselves and pride ourselves on reporting the right things, and this is what is right. This is America. This is the voice of America. Everyone who's out here today is here for the voice of America. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Libby. She'll do some more interviews and talk to us a little bit more.
Thanks so much, Philip. I did talk to a lady down there. She directed me towards someone else to get an interview with. This lady over here with the pink flag, I'm going to try to get her. Can you get her for me? Hi, would you like to be interviewed? We're with Right Side Broadcasting Network. Okay, thanks so much for interviewing. What's your name, ma'am?
Audrey Strine.
Audrey, what are you doing out here today?
I am here to try to expose the corruption and show our support for Donald Trump, our president, that we're with him and willing to ride out this complicated process of recounts and sorting out fraud from the real deal, the legal votes.
Now, can you just describe this scene for us? I know we've been showing everyone, but I'd love to hear it in your perspective.
And what's happening here? Everybody out here just staying the course, not losing hope just because, the media is saying, that Biden got more votes. I feel confident in this situation more. I've been doing this for 12 years. I feel more confident in this actually getting to the bottom of the corruption with Trump because of his power, connection, lawyers, and the money. Candidates typically, when they finish a race, are broke and they don't have the legal defense, so they just let it go. And they're exhausted. But Trump has got a great team with him, and I feel confident that...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think also something about President Trump is he's always been a fighter. He's had to fight uphill battles against the media and the left for 5 years now. And we elected him because he would fight for the American people, and that's what he's going to do now. So I think it's great to see people out here really standing their ground for him, too. I know, it's almost like two different Americas out here.
It is. You know, I remember in the Obama days, they are on one side during the Obamacare battle. They're on one side, we're on the other. Say no Obamacare, and they're like, yes to Obama. And I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm still like doing this whole thing. And I've been exhausted from the elections. I ran like a 70 volunteer group, and I'm a executive committee person in Bucks County. And when I thought, oh my God, I got to come to Philly now, I'm so tired, and I have to get back to my own business. But this was so important that I had to come.
That's awesome. So you said you're from Bucks County. Where in Pennsylvania again is that?
Right northeast of Philadelphia, about 30 minutes.
Okay. So you traveled down here just to see it out here. What do you think of? We've seen a lot of evidence on Twitter. We've been seeing allegations of fraud. What do you think about that?
I knew there was going to be fraud, but I didn't know it was going to be to this extent. Newt Gingrich said Philly is the capital of corruption for the whole country. They're going to wait and see what the votes are, and then they're just going to start cranking them out for whatever they need. And I never really thought it was going to be to this extent of a volume.
Yeah. Do you think they're actually going to go forward and audit the votes and do everything in their power to do so?
Well, I know Georgia, the Secretary of State just said that they're going to have a recount. And someone just told me on the way here that Wisconsin's going to also. So,
you know what I think is suspicious is the fact that if there were no truth to these claims of fraud, it would be easy enough for the Democrats to prove so and do their whole process.
And let us in to see
exactly,
the process.
Exactly, and then just prove to everyone that Joe Biden won fair and square. But of course, that's not happening.
Right.
I know I was talking to another lady earlier who saw a lot of parallels with socialism in Russia. Do you have anything to say about that? What do you think the future of our elections could look like?
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of diminish my hopefulness if this can't be straightened out with somebody as powerful and connected as Trump and financially, wealthy like that, to be able to get to the bottom of it. If we can't with him, then the hope of winning at least a national election, even a statewide election, I don't know how that's going to pan out. But I try to compartmentalize and just focus on what's right in front of me here today. What do I need to do? And to just have that positive. I think about our founding fathers, and I think about when George Washington was defeated in New York, and how devastating that was. But he just kept on and kept on. And I am at where I am in Bucks County, is right near Washington's Crossing, where his men were starving, bloody feet. And they just kept marching on, and they had nothing, and other than just sheer grit and tenacity to push on. So we're still well fed, and we got a roof overhead, so we can do this. We can do this.
Well, thank you so much, Audrey. Thank you for your time. Thanks for being out here. Stay safe and keep fighting. All right, that was a great interview. I think Philip might be getting someone to interview over here. Let's see. If not, we'll just keep going down the line, see if we can find anyone who wants to talk to us. We have a decent showing here. I think that more people have showed up for President Trump, and they are very energetic as well. Let's see if would you like to interview with us with Right Side Broadcasting? Would you like to interview with us? We're with Right Side Broadcasting. Would you like to interview with us? We're with Right Side Broadcasting.
I just have one thing to say.
What would you like to say?
I'd like to say that we're here for the millions of Americans who stood in line for hours so they could vote for the president's reelection. And right behind me in this building, they're being disenfranchised by people that won't let us see the vote. You can't see the vote as a watcher 20 to 50 feet away, which is all we can do. That's why I'm here. We just want a fair and honest election. We're not getting it in Philadelphia.
You're absolutely right. Well, thank you so much for being out here today. We need all the support we can get. Keep going. So another person really excited to be out here, standing up for the integrity of the election, for a fair and free election. You can see on the other side, we have people say they have a bunch of signs over here wanting all votes to count. The implication being the mail-in ones that could be passed election in favor of Joe Biden. So you can also see, for a side that is so stickler on COVID restrictions, they're basically partying over there. So just take that hypocrisy at face value. So we are down here right side broadcasting in the streets of Philly. I had to convince my dad to let me come because he was unsure, but we're here, we're showing you the real deal. And we are basically one of the only outlets here that is showing you both sides, fair coverage of President Trump supporters being out here, still caring, still fighting for him like he fought for them. And we here at Right Side are viewer funded, so we really appreciate all the support we can get. We couldn't be doing this without you guys. We were in Harrisburg yesterday. We have a team in Phoenix. We're here in Philly today. So if you can donate, we so appreciate that. There's 3 simple ways I'm just going to go through real quick. Number 1, you can go to our website at www.rspnetwork.com/donate. Really easy way to do that. You can leave us a message there. We'll see those, which we really appreciate. You can also, if you're watching on YouTube, go into the live chat, the super chat there, and donate. I believe YouTube takes 30% of those, so if you don't want to donate to YouTube as well, go to our website, or you can also, third way, just send us a check by mail. That address is 1550 Opelika Road, Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Again, we really appreciate everyone's support, watching there on YouTube and on Twitter. We are here to show you the true coverage of this election and what is still happening. It's not over yet. People are still trying to stand their ground, and they're keeping hope and keeping praying about it. Definitely, if you're watching right now, we all believe in the power of prayer, and we know this election ultimately lies in God's hand. So just don't underestimate that power of prayer. Keep praying for a fair election. Let's keep walking down, see if we can find anyone here. I know this morning we leave the decision desk called Pennsylvania for Biden. Looks like we might have an interview right here. Would y'all like to interview? Would y'all like to interview with Right Side Broadcasting? You go to interview? Okay, good. Okay, so we are here. He has a Donald Trump mask on, President Trump. What's your name, sir?
Mark.
Mark? Okay, Mark, what are you doing out here today?
Supporting the president and making sure the votes are counted fairly.
Yep, absolutely. Can you describe this scene? We've been showing everyone the crowds on both sides, but can you describe for everyone watching what the atmosphere is like down here?
Awesome. If you have time, come down here during your time off or whatever. Get off of work, come right down here. We'll be here until like 7 o'clock because we don't want anything happening to our officers or us. But if you want to come down and support the president or support their side, either or, come on down. We'll welcome you and come join us.
Yeah. And are you from Philadelphia here? Okay. Did you expect anything like this to happen? I know a lot of people were saying before the election actually happened that, with the mail-in ballots there would be some fraud. Did you see that happening, and did you think it would be to the extent it is?
Oh, definitely. I definitely seen this coming. I definitely seen them trying to cheat their way like they are. I think we're going to come down to it, we catching them cheating, and then we're going to win because of them trying to cheat their way through the election. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I know everyone's out here today to try to get those free and fair elections and get those results in and get everyone audited. So what do you think is going to happen at the end of the day with this? Do you think it's going to go to court? Do you think once they audit it, everything is going to work out in favor for President Trump?
It's definitely going to go to court, I think. Donald Trump says he has a bunch of things going through. He has paperwork saying they cheated, like how fake ballots came in. So we're going to see how it comes down. But no one's going to be declared the winner until we actually know every ballot vote is in. Every United States of America citizen is alive. They signed and they voted.
Absolutely. We know President Trump is a fighter. He's been fighting the media, uphill battle For 5 years now, he's been fighting Democrats, the left, Nancy Pelosi, basically everyone for 5 years. He's used to it. He's not going to stop now. It's great to see people like you out here doing the same for him, fighting for him. So thank you so much for being out here. Is there anything else you'd like to say today?
Yeah, nothing's gonna stop our president from fighting, and nothing's gonna stop him from telling us what's right and what's wrong. Even if he doesn't become president, I still think he's gonna come out and talk to us, to tell us what they're doing wrong for us and how it's gonna hurt us in the long run. And if he don't win this time, guess what? He's going to run next term, and we're going to keep trying and trying. He's going to win, though. I feel it. He's going to win.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us. You have a great day. Keep fighting and keep praying.
Yep.
Thanks. All right. So we're going to look for another interview, or maybe see if Brian or Philip want to take over from here. Brian, you want to take over? Okay. We're going to pass it over to Brian now.
All right, thanks, Libby. Let me set the scene again. Here in the middle, they've created a barrier, it looks like, just for the media. So before, both sides had a little bit of access to the area we're standing in now, but right now, we're kind of in a protected area. And as you saw earlier, I went on the other side and talked to a few people and had a few, I guess, interesting conversations at that. But you've met some personalities here, and I've spent some time while Libby and Philip was on the air to walk around and talk to some of the supporters and some of the other media outlets here. And it becomes one central theme that everyone can agree on. They do want every vote to be counted, but every legal vote to be counted. I'm sure you've heard that from some of the supporters here as well, but media outlets from around the world. I mean, I just had a conversation with a couple guys from Japan covering this election. The eyes, the world's eyes are on here in the U.S., and so, which, you know what, really makes the moment even more historic. Let's walk down this way. Of course, you've got a lot of flags, and this was a much different scene earlier when there was just a few Trump supporters here. Now that has changed. Now there's quite a few supporters here as well. Walk over here. You guys, Latinos for Trump, right? Can I talk to you for a second? Sure. Yeah, the Right Side Broadcasting, we're live right now. Latinos for Trump. Trump has done very well with the Latino vote, especially down in Florida. What's your take on this?
Well, I moved from Venezuela 12 years ago. And I believe that I support Trump because I see the same pattern happening in Venezuela. And I see the Democrats trying to do the same thing here, even right now.
And it seems like a lot of, in South Florida, a lot of Cubans, a lot of immigrants, they see what socialism and communism can do. They're against it. But what do you think? Why do you think the message gets lost with a lot of young people in this country that think that's the way to go? What needs to happen to change that mindset?
Well, I think it happens, for example, in Venezuela, it happened with our first, well, it happens right now in Philadelphia. It happens with all the professors that have been like brainwashing the students. That's why most of the young people in college are like lefty or Democrats. Yeah.
Where are you guys from? From the area?
No, I'm from Massachusetts.
I'm from Philadelphia.
What brings you here today? I mean, obviously you want to stop the steal and make sure every legal vote is counted, but let's talk about why you're here.
Honestly, because I want us to be able to hold our representatives accountable. I mean, there's blatant voter fraud going on all over the country, and they need to do something about it. The time to talk is over. Like, we need to do action, and action needs to start at least in the courtroom. If we just continue to be the side of the majority and just don't make our voices heard, then they're going to steal this election right out from under us.
What do you think is going to happen if they come out and they declare Joe Biden the victor in this election? Do you think patriots around the country will rise up and hit the streets?
That's right, absolutely. You should. If you're not in the streets right now, you're wrong. You got to be out here because what they're trying to do right now is steal our election. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's so many videos out there right now on the internet that everybody can see. It's absolutely ridiculous. We had Rudy Giuliani down here yesterday with Pam Bondi killing it, kicking ass for America, and that's what we need. Stand up and fight for America, for your people. Take to the streets.
I think it's interesting how down the ticket, really, the left has failed to flip any seats. It's been very strong. In Congress, we picked up seats. Senate, we're holding. So the agenda they thought was coming, the blue wave they thought was coming, didn't happen. And it just surprises everyone that Joe Biden got as many votes as he did when all the other races around the country failed.
I mean, how many votes? They introduced a whole different system of voting. We don't vote by mail, guys. How do we vote? We vote on the 3rd, the day of the election. We go in there and we cast our ballot like everybody else. This is ridiculous. They introduced voter fraud from the beginning. This is so ridiculous.
I think they've basically weaponized COVID-19 in the voting process. They use that as a tool to open up the door for potential fraud.
Right. Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, I'm just saying they weaponized COVID-19 to open the door for voter fraud.
Of course. I mean, we've seen that the second they started shutting things down and starting to like extend the shutdowns and everything, and we've seen it a mile away. And if a representative didn't do anything to counter this whole fraud, then that's why we're here as well today.
God bless you guys. Keep up the fight. Let's move over here and talk to some women for Trump. And of course, Trump did very well amongst women. So, hey, how you doing? I'm just out here. Get your thoughts on what's going on today.
Yeah, sure. Well, we're here to defend our Constitution rights to be able to have a fair and equal election here. And we just want to show our support for Donald J. Trump, our president.
Same. We want to support the president and his family for all they've been through so far and all they're going through now. This is just unbelievable. The lying, the defiance, it's terrible. I don't know why the other side of the street doesn't want a transparent and truthful election. I just don't get it.
Earlier, I talked to a person on the other side, and she told me she was a volunteer for Inside. She goes, hey, there's clear transparency there. And I go, not really, when you're 75, 100 feet away from the voting area. How can you be transparent like that?
That's right.
They weren't even letting them in. They threw them out and defied the court order from Pam Bondi. So, you know what? I would love to ask any of those people over there why they voted for Biden instead of Orange Man bad.
Yeah, I would like to know that as well. God bless you guys. Let's make our way down here. We got this gentleman right here. How you doing? How you guys doing? Brian Glenn with Right Side Broadcasting. We're live right now. Just want to get your thoughts on what's going on and why you're here.
Well, I'm here because I care about America, and I've been fighting for 4 years. You can see me 4 years ago at the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia with the Trump sign in front of Hillary and Bernie's markup. So I've been fighting. I went to the Jewish Roundtable 4 years ago, and I've been fighting for America since then.
So what's your thoughts on what's going on today with a lot of the voter accusations of voter fraud? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the Democrats have been doing voter fraud for a long time. This is they set this up for voter fraud because Wolf and company are very corrupt. The Democrats are the most corrupt people in the history of America. Biden and his family, Hunter, are on the take from.
What do you predict that happens? Where do we go from here?
Well, we're going to win. Trump is not going to give up, and we have the Supreme Court. Pennsylvania is completely corrupt now. We got a corrupt Pennsylvania Supreme Court, corrupt governor, and a corrupt city. And so we've been fighting. I brought this sign into Kensington. The black people, everyone in Philly is disgusted with Krasner and the mayor and all the Democrats.
All right, one final question for this gentleman. Do you like the music they're playing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I wanted to get that out of him. There you go. Hang on, we'll come back and find you. How you doing? You got your flag there, out here showing your support? Absolutely. Nice. Glad to have you as a partner with us as well. All right, so your thoughts on what's going on?
Of your coverage of all of the rallies. You're fabulous.
What's your thoughts on what's going on right now? Obviously, they're calling for count every vote. We want to count every vote as well, but we want to make sure every legal vote gets counted.
We want every vote counted legally. And, you know, when you listen to the left and you listen to our side, we want a lot of the exact same things. And everything they're saying they want, our great president is giving us. Equal rights, freedom, work, everything. So we want every vote counted as well. We just want them legally counted.
Let me ask you maybe a personal question. Are you a person of faith?
Oh, certainly, I'm a Christian.
There we go. Because I find that's a big difference between the other side and this side. They seem like they don't have a whole lot of faith, and that plays a part of their, I think, unhappiness.
Well, I'm so happy you went there because I have no fear at all. I have had a complete peace since with everything because we did everything we could. We gave it our all. Our great president is 45 steps ahead of everybody else, and I have trust in the system. And all we can do is keep doing the best that we can.
And we've had this nationwide prayer as well, which prayer plays a big part.
I was just in Washington, D.C. with Lance Wallnau and Mario. We were all at a very beautiful hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue, and we went over to the mall for 2 full days, and we worshiped for 12 hours straight. And we just asked God to rain his blessings on our great nation and shake those unanswered prayers from our forefathers and foremothers. And we are here assembling our right to freedom of this great country we live in.
I love it. But God bless you. Thanks for coming out here. You're brave. I love you as well. And of course, if you want to donate to Right Side, you know what? This is one of those extended coverages that we do here. You can go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and give what you can right now. We're not asking for a whole lot, but we just do want to throw that out there that it does take a lot of money and resources to do all of these rallies and get events going around the country now that we're going into a little bit of a more post-election. So rsbnetwork.com/donate. We got some supporters. Oh, well, she just apparently she's not a fan, but that's okay. We still support their right to do that, I guess. But anyway, let's give you a live look at what's going on across the street. As we've seen, it's more of a dance party, I guess, at this point. You know, I'm glad they're happy, and I'm glad they want to count all the votes. We just need to make sure we count all the legal votes, and of course, we can all agree that. You know, we have found a lot of common ground as well amongst the supporters. They love this country, and they may love this country for different reasons, and they have different, I guess, moral compass than we do, but nevertheless, we're all Americans. We want a fair and equal outcome for all of that. All right, let's make our way back down here as well. Just bear with us. As if you're just joining us, we are live from the Convention Center here in Philadelphia, Pennsilvania, and we are bringing this coverage to you live and uninterrupted as we make our way through here. All right, it's going down. We got the Latinos of Trump. We talked to this gentleman earlier as well. It's going down here. How you doing? Just want to talk to you for a second. We're live on Right Side Broadcasting. Awesome. What brings you here today?
Free and fair election, the American way of life for all voters.
So right now, there's so much controversy in the vote. Like, what's your thoughts on how it's going to end up? Is it going to the courts? Or are they going to decide that some of those states they would flip them for Trump? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it'll go to the courts. I think the fight will continue as long as Trump brings it, and as long as he keeps fighting, I think the rest of us will keep fighting.
Okay, as a Trump supporter, as you walk through here, and there's a lot of, opposite viewpoints in the world. I guess so. Have you personally received any type of derogatory comments towards you? I was told earlier, he saw my mic flag. This guy walked by and told me to go home. And I said, well, actually, I'm not going to go home. I'm going to stay here. Then he told me to off. And I said, you know what? I'm glad that you have the right to say that because we live in a great country. I didn't return fire to that, obviously. But we don't do that.
We don't do that.
But I mean, have you experienced that at all?
So there were 2 women, photographers. The one heard me say something, started laughing, and I said, well, what about that? What I said was funny, and honestly, I don't remember what I said. And I presented my point of view, and she flipped me off multiple times, and I said, well, that's what your side does. I'm not going to do that to you. And she did it with her other hand. And the woman next to her, who was also laughing with the camera, flipped us off. So, yeah, I would say yes. And you know what? Never did I think in this country I would have to take my Trump shirt off and turn it inside out to walk 4 blocks to get here.
Absolutely. I will say this, and we've seen, how many American flags do you see on that side of the street?
None.
None.
And that's what I expect.
And it's interesting, I said this about 8 years ago, that the American flag would almost be a sign of hate in this country. That if you had an American flag, you stood for racism, you stood for sexism and white guilt and just all the narrative that the left pushes. But we see today, there's patriots out here.
What's wrong with the right is that for so long, the left told the American people what we were about, who we were. And we let them because we thought no one would believe it. And this is why we're here today, because we didn't fight back. And that's why we support Donald Trump, because he does fight back. He is of the people. He has always loved this country. And if they win, we all lose.
If they win, we all lose. Well, thanks for your time. God bless you. God bless everybody. I appreciate it. Veterans for Trump, come on in here, sir. For one thing, if you love Right Side, we love you.
Right there, my friend's she was an elected delegate right there in the red hat.
Wonderful. Bring over there. Let me ask you, are you a veteran?
I am.
Okay, thank you for your service, obviously. Okay, what do you think? We just made a comment that there's more American flags on this side and there's no American flags on that side. As a veteran, how does that make you feel?
Disappointed. I mean, it's kind of typical of that side. I mean, they're not proud of America. I guess I get. So I don't know. I think they're more narcissistic. They have scales on their eyes. Why can't they see what's going on? You know, all we're down here to do is make this fair. You know, allow the observers to get into the center here, or the convention center, and observe. And well, again, what are they hiding? It begs a lot of questions. If they want to be transparent and shine the light, I mean, come up, come into the light. Stay there in the darkness. So, we all think you're hiding something.
Wouldn't you think that Joe Biden at this point would want to be as transparent as possible? Because if he's so confident with the millions of votes he got, well, why not have somebody observe that?
Precisely. Yeah. Why not? If you're confident, well, then what are you hiding? Why are you cowering? Be transparent. Step up. That whole side, the Democrat side. I love America. That's why we're allowed to do this. Peacefully protest, and it's been a peaceful protest. But yes, just make it simple.
But where do we go from here? Let's just say they declare Joe Biden the winner. All right, where do we go from here as a Trump supporter?
Well, I'm waiting. It's going to go to the Supreme Court, especially to Pennsylvania. What I find was a travesty and a hijacking when the eight Democratic judges were appointed. I mean, who were appointed as Democrats. They arbitrarily made the decision to let's extend it 3 days. That's totally illegal. That does not comport with.
It seems that they've been moving the goalposts every single time. So that's exactly what happened.
Precisely.
It's hard to have a finale with anything when you keep changing it. You've got a Trump flag. Thank you for your service. Thank you. God bless. How about us talk about you? Where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia, but my parents are from the Soviet Union, so they know what socialism is.
Okay, let's talk about this city. What has changed since you've moved here in this city?
Like I said, I've lived here, but when my parents came back in 1980, they're technically, I know we had a Democrat, mayor since 1954, and I heard that's when the city started going downhill. But in 1980, it wasn't as bad as it is now. They say Black Lives Matter, but they only come out when a white person kills a black person, which is less than 2% of the time yearly. You have 95% black on black crime, and they say that's not a thing. They don't care about black lives. Where's Black Lives Matter in Chicago? Last week, 26 kids got killed. A month ago, at one night, 38 kids got killed in a drive-by. Black kids, by the way, by other black people. Where's Black Lives Matter then?
What is the number one reason why you love Donald Trump?
Sorry?
What's the number one reason why you love Donald Trump?
I love Donald Trump the same reason my parents love Donald Trump. Donald Trump said, this country will never be socialist under my rule. Like I said, my parents ran away from it. Not just my parents, my grandparents, they ran away from it. They know what it is. Let's see why else I love Donald Trump.
I think a lot of kids and people that are misinformed think that socialism is the way to go. And how do we correct that narrative?
They think socialism is the way to go. They don't know what it is. And I guarantee you they don't want to experience it. And a good way to correct it,
The outlets like ourselves, like Right Side, we're out there trying to share the story.
You're not calling us activists while you're calling looters peaceful protesters. Not like that.
And there's a lot of journalists out there that call themselves journalists, but they're activists as well.
Yeah, they're activists. Like I said, I'm voting again. This is my first election. I'm 18 years old. I'm voting for Donald Trump because, first of all, I've seen what he's done in his 4-year term. He's a businessman. He's not a politician. But he takes the way how he does business into the real world, which means that lowest black unemployment rate ever. Economic boost up, stocks went up crazy within the third quarter just now. They're blaming Trump for all their problems. Look at any Democratic city versus conservative city. Any Democratic city, look at Philly. Philly's become a shithole. It's been a shithole. Look at LA. Any of these cities. Look at New York. Look what's going on right now. Everyone's leaving one by one. No one likes those cities. All Democrats run them. The last time I checked, businesses were boarded up, not because they're scared of Trump supporters, but because they're scared of Democrats. They're scared of Antifa. They're scared of Black Lives Matter and the looters. They're scared to the mob.
And it could get much worse if it reversed and it end up going to the Supreme Court and they it's going to get worse.
Supreme Court. We do have Amy in the Supreme Court, so I am very confident with what the results.
God bless. Thank you so much. We're going to move on. Thank you so much. All right, great. So as you can see, there's a lot of people from all over the world, really, that call the U.S. home, and they love this country, and they love what we're all about here. They love the fact that you have freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and we haven't really talked about the Second Amendment. And now, let me ask you a question right before I get that. Second Amendment supporter, obviously, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. When you see people that want to take away your Second Amendment rights, what goes through your mind?
I just think it's ridiculous. I always point out to those people who want to take my Second Amendment right. Look at Venezuela. Look at any of those countries, socialist countries where the Second Amendment got taken away. These people cannot even fight against their own government because they have no weapons.
Yeah, there you go. I knew I'd find them. I knew I'd find a hot take on that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so there you have it. Oh, hang on a second. I think she was this the delegate? Okay, wonderful. I'm going to talk to you. I'm Brian Glenn with Right Side Broadcasting. We're live right now, just to let you know. So why are you here? Tell me about yourself.
Well, I am a delegate, an RNC delegate from Bucks County, the 1st Pennsylvania Congressional District. I'm here because I want to support the president and also a free and fair election in the United States. I mean, I think it's a disgrace that we have anomalies that people don't even want to look into. I was a watcher in my county, and I can tell you that being 100 feet away or even 6 feet away as they want people to be, it's not appropriate. You can't appreciate anything from that distance. And just overall, I want to support Donald Trump because he has accomplished more as president in 4 years than anybody in my memory that I can think of as president.
Yeah, and we know that President Trump watches Right Side Broadcasting. If there's a message you can tell him right now if he's watching, what would you want to say to him? Because he sees the nation come together for his back. What would your message be?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I've been thinking I just really want to tell him to stay strong, and I want to give him a big hug, actually, because I'm so grateful for what he's done to this country, or for this country. And even though he might see a lot of people out there against him, there are a lot of people for him, and there are a lot of people who have benefited from his leadership because they now have a sense of empowerment. What he has done, the reasons why people have walked away from the Democrat Party, it's not just for law and order, as someone was saying to me earlier. Well, you know, it's because he's the law and order president, and that's not, certainly he is, right? But what I think is more powerful about Donald Trump is the message that he sends to Americans that you can do anything, we can do anything. He says we all the time, and it's very encouraging and very empowering, and I want him to feel that energy back.
We love you. We love you a lot. If you remember, Barack Obama said the American dream is being Donald Trump. Those words came out of his mouth, and so to your point, he is very encouraging to people to live your dream, go into business, do whatever you feel like you want to do, whatever your calling is in life. And I love the fact that he's very faith-based as well. We have seen that with a lot of things that he's done with putting the capital in Jerusalem, moving the embassy in Jerusalem, things like that. You're a woman of faith. I
am a woman of faith, and he is, and he doesn't get enough credit for it. People say it's phony, it's fake, whatever, but I always say there's faith and then there's religion. He is definitely a man of faith, and he is connected. He has a relationship with God, and I appreciate that, and I know that that's what's helping him remain strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your service being a delegate, and thank you for being out here and being a Trump supporter. Thank you so much. All right, let's spin it around. If you're just now joining us, we are live at the Pennsylvania Convention Center right out in front as a little demonstration going on here, a little bit of a support rally as well, which we would anticipate on a post-election. What do we have here, Libby? Go ahead.
Okay, so I have, we're getting an interview here real quick. Just give us 1 second. I think he met some friends here. They're getting a photo. He had a really good story, so I'm excited. Sure, of course. What's your name, sir?
My name is Edward X. Young. I'm from Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
From New Jersey, okay. So what brings you out here today? What are you doing?
Well, I've been having a happy time. I took off of work for 2 weeks. In the past few years, I've been to 45 rallies with President Trump. I was at 10 of them in the past 2 weeks before the election.
Wow, that's incredible. 45 rallies. So I'd love to hear your input then. What do you see whenever you go to a rally and you see at this Butler one, we had 58,000 people, and then to see that he somehow lost Pennsylvania? What do you make of that?
It's a hoax, it's a lie, it's voter fraud. And I'm not going to accept it. You know, if Hillary had won 4 years ago, as much as I despise that horrible, evil woman, I was ready to accept it because at least she was a known quantity. She had been in politics for many years, first lady, senator, secretary of state, hated her in all these positions, but she was smart. She was smart and she paid her dues. And Donald Trump back then was an unknown quantity. How did we know he was going to keep his promises? How did we know a businessman was going to be able to run the country? But he proved himself spectacularly. Now don't tell me the Americans who voted for Donald Trump, the Americans who benefited from the greatest economy we ever had, suddenly, for no apparent reason, decided to vote for Joe Biden, a crime boss, senile. He has the intellect of a sack of carrots. His son is a crackhead, sex pervert, child molester, and also a crook, too. And for the vice president, they've chosen a sleazy whore. And I don't want to get into details, but if you look up the history, just Google Kamala Harris and Willie Brown, mayor of San Francisco, and you'll hear some horrible stories about how she broke into politics. I've been in 2 weeks before the election, I've been down to North Carolina, up to Maine, out to Columbus, Ohio, all over Pennsylvania. All I've seen is love for President Trump, enormous support. Butler, 60,000 people. I was also in Allentown in the pouring rain, 30,000 of us at 11 in the morning in the pouring rain, and we loved him. What do you see for Biden? A dinky sign here or there. He has a rally. He doesn't get enough people to count on both fingers. That's as far as he could go because he's a senile moron.
And we know that President Trump is a fighter. That's why the American people elected him in the first place. He's been fighting for us these past 4 years. He'll continue to do so. So what do you think that is going to happen from here?
It doesn't look good, I admit. People are being optimistic. It doesn't look good. Evil may succeed for now. But if the president is watching this, and we have spoken on 4 occasions, he's actually spoken to me from the stage. We've conversed. And I've talked to his chief of staff and also the chief operations officer. We've talked at length. If President Trump is watching, and I believe he watches right side, I want him to know that we're not going to stop fighting for him. He fought for us and saved our country. And now we're here to fight for him when he needs us. That's why I'm here. And it's dangerous here. I was here last night. I got attacked. A cop got a hold of me and said, man, they're going to kill you. Because I was saying a lot of stuff to the press, like I'm saying to you, and they wanted to kill me. And he said, you're targeted. I'm going to walk you back to your car. Where is it? God bless this police officer. But I want the president to know we're here for him. We're not giving up. And should the worst happen, Trump 2024, we're there. We're there. Trump 2024, he'll come back. He'll be 45 and he'll be 47. And then he gets 2 terms. And wouldn't that be sweet? Wouldn't that make him vomit?
Yeah, well, you heard it right here. Thank you so much for interviewing with us. Thanks for being out here. Keep on fighting and keep praying. Stay safe.
Do you need my card for identification?
Sure, I'll take your card.
Yeah. I know you won't give it to the bad guys.
No, you're good. We're good over here.
I'm a horror movie actor when I'm not doing my sexual.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. Will you stay fighting?
God bless Right Side. I'm a big fan of Right Side.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Okay, we're gonna move down the line here, and I think I had another interview set up, so we'll try to get him over here. Here. You ready to interview now?
Sure. You want to
Great.
go someplace quieter?
This is good. We have the microphone, so I'll try to talk as loud as I can.
Okay.
And then I don't want to botch your name. Can you tell me your name again?
Piruz Abir.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing out here, what the environment's like.
I'm originally from Iran, and back in 1975-76, we watched how that country melted away. It started with setting fires to movies and protests, and what they did, they would burn theaters down and blame it on the Shah, on the king, the Shah back then. So I'm watching some of that stuff going on here, and it's troubling. And when I'm looking at the people across there, they think we are against them. We're not. We're for them too. All we're saying is that we want to make sure everything is done accurately where we can trust the results and then go about our business. The other part of it is that we don't want what is happening in Iran. We don't want what's happening in places like Venezuela, where we're silenced. It's been really troubling to see the part of the media won't report, and then they say you're lying. And when we're eyewitnesses of what we're seeing on the ground, and they say, oh, it's not true. It's like, why? Why are you having trouble reporting the truth? So let the truth come out and let the chips fall where they may. If you got to go, Trump has got to go, okay, but that's not the case. How do you explain 500,000 votes in Florida for him, 40% Jewish, 15, 20, 30% black, and then you have 40, 45% Latino? So how do we trust the rest of this? So hopefully we have a prayer.
Yeah, exactly. I know the lack of transparency and censorship is really just concerning, and it should be concerning to every American. If there's no fraud, if there's no issue, there shouldn't be an issue. I've said this before. There shouldn't be an issue. Auditing, showing us what actually happened, just proved to the American people that this was a rightful victory for Joe Biden. Otherwise, it's gonna look bad for everyone. Can you tell me a little bit about what you see happening here? You know, you said you were in Iran before, and what was happening with the looting there and the government. What do you see happening with those parallels from here?
One of the things that was interesting is that some of the high wealth people were making decisions and manipulating people. And it's troubling for me to see like a Bloomberg throw $100 million at election. Who's he to decide? Who are we? Are we not part of this nation? Do you care about who we are? Do you care about these people? Are you manipulating these guys, or maybe manipulating us too? So that's troubling, very troubling, because what are you supposed to do? Where do you anchor your life, especially when you say this is a country where freedom lives? One of the pieces that really troubled us is watching, we were observing, not myself, one of my friends, observed the hand count or the mail-in ballots. Well, if they have trouble with the machine, first of all, the ballot goes from hands of 6 different people, each mailing ballot. If it doesn't go through the machine, there's someone sitting there and they're playing video games and they're entering your vote for you. You trust that? I don't care which side you're in.
That's really scary to know that, you know, maybe things were not done correctly. And I know we were talking to a lady here earlier, and she was working polls as well, and saying that people who were wearing Trump shirts or Trump masks, they were being turned away, or they just weren't being treated properly. And that right there is enough cause for concern, and to at least look deeper into this issue. So do you have any last words or comments for the viewers here? Any advice for them how to stay strong in this time?
First of all, the people who are friends and don't agree with us, we need to make sure they know we love them, we appreciate them. And to me, my faith is what's driving me. And, you know, everybody has trials in their lives. So if Biden gets in, he can do whatever he wants, but he's not above God.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your time today. Stay safe and keep fighting.
Really appreciate RBC. Good job.
Thank you so much. All right, well, make sure you guys keep praying as well. I know we've mentioned before, can't underestimate the power of prayer. We've been having prayer vigils the last 2 nights. We might be doing one again. Keep a lookout on our Twitter and on our YouTube for that if we do those in the upcoming nights. We just try to get together, get as many supporters as possible, just praying for a fair election and for justice in the end. So we're just going to show those both sides here again. They're partying over there still. Both sides are very energetic today. And we're just trying to show you the truth of what is happening here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, outside the convention center where a lot of the action is taking place. You know, we couldn't do this without you guys. Here at Right Side, we are viewer funded, which means we rely on you guys to help us get and show these events and show the truth. We were just at Harrisburg yesterday. We're in Phoenix as well, and then we're now in Philadelphia here. And again, we couldn't do this without you guys. And we have 3 really easy ways to donate if you're able to do so, which we so appreciate. Again, we couldn't do it without you. If you're watching on YouTube, you can go into the Super Chat and just donate there. I believe YouTube does take 30% of those proceeds, but you can leave us a message there. We love to read those. And then if you want to go to our website at www.rsbnetwork.com/donate, you can also donate there and leave us a little message. And the third way, if you don't like doing it online, is you can send us a check in the mail. That address is 1550 Opelika Road, Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Again, those are 3 really easy ways to donate. We appreciate you guys. We love seeing you out here. Keep up watching in the comments. Try to join us for another prayer vigil if we have one of those. And just keep praying and keep having faith in this. And I think we might pass it over to Ryan.
I'm just watching the other side, and it seems like it's such a victory party. And I just want to say that party has not started yet. And after talking to so many patriots here, after knowing what is taking place in this country, it is far from over. And there's so much vicious hate over there. I was talking to a couple of supporters here that walked through the other side to either go to the car or just to walk around and see what's going on. And some of the language that comes from the supporters over there is just beyond me. And for a side that really touts themselves as tolerant and loving and compassionate, I mean, look, I'm 51 years old. I'm a man. I can take some language. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm very thick-skinned. But I am just so shocked at some of the behavior coming from the other side. I really am.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they pride themselves on being tolerant of everyone, so loving, yet they can't tolerate anyone who challenges their opinions. And it's just censoring us and attacking in some cases. Yeah. You think if the left's ideas were so good, could they not articulate them and persuade people? But instead, they just have to censor anyone who disagrees with them.
Absolutely. And you know what? One common theme I've seen over there as well is the legalization of drugs. I mean, you smell it right now. We're not smelling drugs, but we're smelling something but it's a common theme. So it's like, what do they stand for? Legalization of drugs. Let's decriminalize every single thing that we can. Theft, being in some part in California, I think they decriminalize theft. So if anything's under $750, it's not a crime. You just take it. They're for a society that is just absolutely not realistic. It's not. It won't work. And I don't know if it's a breakdown in the educational system where these kids are not taught to love this country. They're not taught of how this country was founded. It's just so surprising to me, Libby. It really is.
Yeah, and as a college student, I can tell you I was in high school a few years ago, and we were taught a lot about how the worst parts about America. That we had one class that it was basically teaching you to hate your country and show you how biased, and not that there aren't things that have happened in the past that we should obviously learn about and understand those. But there's a difference between hating your country and learning the truth. And I know, I believe we would spend so much time learning about fascism and Hitler. Obviously, that's an important thing to learn about. But they would almost gloss over socialism, Stalin, Mao. And a lot of the parallels that we're seeing now are to that, but young people just haven't been taught. They don't see the dangers in it, which is really concerning, especially for my generation. We have a lot of work to do to get them to understand the implications of this evil and atheistic ideology.
Even economics. I mean, I had a gentleman earlier, and I asked him, what would an appropriate tax rate be for the rich? 60%? 70%? He couldn't answer that question. If it was up to them, they would tax the rich, which honestly, the rich in this country, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a millionaire, but they would put it 90%. So where do you think that money from free medicine, free health care, free this, free that, free college, that comes from taxpayers? And if you raise this tax limit, the tax rate, so high, when no one's making money, where does that come from? And people will move away, like we've seen the state of California have moved out. People from New York have moved out. And so it's just a very unrealistic view of the world that they have. And I don't know what it's going to take to wake this country up. If they experience it, let's just say Biden takes over and the squad, AOC, and they all take over, and we see the tax rates go up, which are going to raise your taxes. They said they're going to raise your taxes. Donald Trump says during the rallies, he doesn't understand how he can go out in a campaign and say, if I'm elected, I'm going to raise your taxes. Who the hell says that, right? So I'd like to see what world it would be if they raise the taxes and people lose their work and manufacturing goes back to China. It's a very disruptive world.
Yeah, it's also concerning to know that if that does happen, the next election, how can we trust that we will ever from this point on have a fair and free election? How can we understand that there's not going to be massive fraud and the American people are basically voiceless at that point?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen, big tech, Google, we've seen Facebook, Twitter, they've all suppressed the conservative viewpoint. We've seen it on the last couple of days before the election. We're seeing it now. We saw that Candace Owens is suing Facebook for the whole fact-checking thing. And I need to read deeper on that, but that was a headline that I read from her. But it's going on in this country, folks. If you don't think this election is a tipping point of going radically left in our country, then you need to wake up, because it's happening right now. The election is being stolen from the American people, not from Donald Trump. It's being stolen from the American people. You and I, all right, we're getting jacked over this election. We're seeing states, and we have been, for 3 weeks, Right Side Broadcasting has been in every battleground state so far. We've seen the groundswell support. We've seen 10,000 people show up for a rally. We've seen 50,000 people show up for a rally. What is happening now in these battleground states is not right. It's not legal. And I tell you what, I pray that this ends up in the courts, and I pray that it turns to our favor. If not, we are in some big trouble.
Absolutely. And I know the mainstream media wants you to believe that there's no hope. But, people are out here, and there is hope, and we're trying to show you that right here. So you have any last words before we send it back to the studio?
Folks, all we can do right now is pray, and Right Side Broadcasting has been pivotal on doing these daily prayers. And you sang Amazing Grace right now. That was beautiful. So just think, Right Side's the bomb. Thank you very much. I would agree with that guy right there. But anyway, so just continue to pray for an outcome, and whatever the outcome is, we put our power up in the Lord, and He has sovereignty over all of us, and we're just going to pray that we're going the right direction.
Well, thanks, Brian. I think we're going to set it back to the studio now, or we're going to keep going. Looks like Brian might be talking to someone right here. Do you have an interview you want to do?
If we can just talk to this guy real quick. I mean, obviously you yelled Right Side Broadcasting. What did you just tell me before Libby came over here?
Hey, Right Side is awesome. You guys need to replace CNN. You guys are awesome.
You know how you can do that?
Show the proof. You show everything. You're not afraid. You show everything. You report accurately. You show everything. I can't stress that enough.
I wish we had the budget they have, but I tell you what, that brings me up to my next thought here. If you want to donate to what we're doing, it's very important. rsbnetwork.com/